Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
This is the UFC Banana Blitz of UFC Des Moines. Here we go. What is the most hyped fight of UFC Des Moines?
You go first.
I mean, yeah, I'm super excited about the main event, but I got to think that everybody's going to be watching the co-main event, Bo Nickel versus Reiner.
DeRitter.
RDR?
Yeah, RDR. I like that. I mean, Bo Nickel is a superstar.
Yeah.
The everybody knows he's a superstar. Everybody wants to see him do well. I've never met somebody that has met Bo Nickel and doesn't like Bo Nickel. I think that's the fight that everybody's prepared for, and we really want to see how he does against a higher level guy.
I agree. I think the odds tell that story. I think Bo should be a way bigger favorite than he is. I think people expect a lot more from DeRitter than they should in this fight, and so I think that's why it's the most hyped, because people actually think that DeRitter can beat him.
I love it. Hey, Duke, we'll get to that. That's a very good question. We'll get to that after this little segment right now. We're doing Banana Blitz, UFC Des Moines. All right, what is the underrated banger at UFC Des Moines?
You want to take this one? Says I went first one.
Yeah, I think the underrated banger is Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Daniel Rodriguez.
Okay, I like that. I
expect it to be awesome.
Now, are we saying like what's going to be a good fight or what's going to be a slugfest?
Like a good fight that people don't realize is going to be a good fight.
So I'm going to disagree with her on that one, just because I think that's going to be a banger, but I think people are expecting that to be a banger. I think when Santiago fights Ponzinibbio, I said Santiago. I pulled a Dave. I think when Ponzinibbio fights, everybody expects it to be a banger. I'm actually going to take Azamat versus Ryan Loder. I don't think people are high enough on Azamat. This guy is extremely good. I know he's only got one fight in the UFC so far. He's one of the most well-rounded fighters at 185 pounds, and I don't think people are giving him the credit he deserves. Going in against an Ultimate Fighter winner, another good grappler. To me, especially being a grappler, I think he's a fan favorite for grapplers. Even if you don't like grappling, I think this is going to be a good fight.
I love it.
Love that you're pointing out Azamat. I think it's going to be one-sided, so I don't see it as a banger.
Sure.
What is a guaranteed finish that we're going to see at UFC Des Moines?
Guaranteed finish. You start. I start last one.
So my guaranteed finish, I had it. Where am I at here? I think it's going to be Jeremy Stephens versus Mason Jones. I think that the only way Jeremy Stephens can win is by knockout. Right. And I think that if he doesn't get the knockout, I don't think he's tough enough to hang around for 3 rounds with this young, hungry guy coming in. I heard you guys talking on the show about Jeremy Stephens. Dave, I think you said that you could see him winning this fight. Let me put out there that he went to PFL and did not win a single fight. So
you're absolutely right. I retract that statement. Thank you.
I just don't think stylistically it makes sense. Obviously, he can get a knockout. It can always happen, but this is my guaranteed finish. One of those guys is getting finished, and I think it's going to be Jeremy Stephens.
Love it. Elle?
My guaranteed finish is going to be Jillian Robertson versus Marina Rodriguez.
There we go.
That was actually my second pick.
There we go. Good answer. Who is your lock of the card of UFC Des Moines?
My lock of the card, the only reason it's not G, because it also is G, is because I just talked about her. My lock of the card is going to be Azamat Bakov. I didn't put him as the banger because I don't think that this is going to be a super close fight. I expect him to be substantially a better grappler, wrestler with better control and do better damage than Ryan Loder.
This is a funny one too, because I think I think Mason Jones. Maybe I'm off on this. I think Bo. I think there's a lot of kind of locks, but Grant, which one's yours?
Yeah, great answer. I think that I think it's going to be Bo Nickel. Okay. I don't think people quite realize how good Bo Nickel is. I've grappled with a lot of guys in my time, middleweights, all the way down to lightweights. He's one of the best. So I really think that people don't realize how good he is. And I'm very hopeful that in this fight, they get to see how good Bo Nickel actually is.
Love it. Who is your underdog pick of UFC Des Moines?
You want to go first? You want me to?
I went first on the last one, didn't I? No,
just finished talking about Bo.
Why don't you go? I had it.
I'm taking Yana Santos to beat Miesha Tate.
I like that one.
I think Yana is a really difficult person to fight. And she's only really losing to the top girls in the division, like Amanda, Raquel Pennington, Ketlin Vieira.
I like that.
I think Miesha Tate, she's a little bit older. And I think Miesha Tate wins fights by outgritting people. And it's almost impossible to outgrit Yana Santos if you've ever watched her fight. That is her entire style.
Maybe it's a female thing, Elle. You're being a little bit too nice. She's not a little older. She is older, okay? Miesha Tate is up there. She's been through it all. A legend, a pioneer, but she's up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Elle on this one. Father Time doesn't discriminate based on sex, and I think that I just can't see a world where somebody comes in at this age with this much time off and gets this win. I'm going to take Yana as well, and she's also been looking really good in the gym.
I would like to. I'm going to blame myself for being sick. I was like, these are not Yana's fights. As I was like saying them out loud, I was reading off the wrong list. I was looking at Miesha Tate's losses. So guys, don't call me out on that. Those were Miesha Tate's losses. Yana also only losing to the top of the division. Holly Holm, Carl Rosa, and Rainey Aldana. I was like, this doesn't sound right, but I'm not questioning my phone right now.
There you go. All right. This is, to me, I think, a pretty easy one. Who is the biggest superstar of the card of UFC Des Moines?
I didn't take him as my lock because I was saving him for this. The biggest superstar for me is Bo Nickel here.
Yes.
I do think he's going to beat DeRitter. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people by dominating a guy that Vegas has the odds very close with. And I think he also is going to just skyrocket from this performance.
I don't disagree with that, but I'm actually going to go with Corey Sandhagen. I think that Corey is beloved by the fans. You know, I don't think I've ever met somebody that was a fan of MMA that didn't, one, know who Corey Sandhagen was, and two, not like him. There are people that have not met Bo Nickel, that have not seen Bo Nickel in the gym, who are saying that he's a hype train and that he's not as good as people think he is. They're wrong. However, I don't really hear that about Corey Sandhagen. I think everybody loves Corey Sandhagen. How do you not love Shaggy? We all grew up with Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. So Corey Sandhagen is the living embodiment of Shaggy that found courage. So
it's so funny. You guys got to check out his latest post on Instagram. It's so funny. He has Chat GTB give him one-liners to talk trash about Davison Figueroa. You guys saw it?
No, just the way
we were
you say
laughing
things.
At you saying Chat GPT.
No, he was like Chat GPT, BT, TBT, Chat.
But I did see that one, and it was really funny.
Okay.
Carry on.
Is it so? It's Chat GDP?
No, GTP.
Oh, they're making fun of me.
Now you have me messing it up.
All right.
Chat.
Who's the prospect to watch at UFC Des Moines?
My prospect to watch.
No, it's my turn to go first.
Oh, go ahead.
Because I think we're going to say the same one.
Oh.
Azamat is okay, good. Azamat is my prospect. Not a lot of guys know who he is right now. And I'm telling you guys, this guy is a force to be reckoned with at 185 pounds.
I don't disagree that he is a prospect to watch. But since I already put him earlier on my list, I'm going to go with Daniel Marcos. Coming off a win over Adrian Yanez, who's a pretty solid name in the division. He's 17-0. Montel Jackson, he's very explosive. He's very athletic, but I think it's a great matchup for Marcos. And I think Marcos is only going to continue to get better.
I like that. All right, two left. Who has the most to gain at UFC Des Moines?
I think it's kind of a tie here between Corey Sandhagen and Bo Nickel. And I think Bo is probably the right answer because I think when Bo shows people that he can compete also against another young prospect, not just a Paul Craig, I think that's going to be huge for him. The one reason I don't want to say it's Corey Sandhagen is I feel like there's just something in the universe that's keeping Corey Sandhagen from breaking through to being the number one contender and getting that title shot again. And so I think even if he does beat Figueiredo, that just might not happen for him. So I think I'm going to go with Bo.
Real quick, and Grant, I want your answer. Elle, it's so funny. I think we were like this last week. I'm the exact opposite of this. Maybe I'm not. Maybe we just think differently. It's definitely not Bo. If Bo wins, he's supposed to win. He's the betting favorite. Everyone or a lot of people think Bo's going to win. RDR has the most to gain. If this guy wins, he becomes a superstar. He kind of jumps in the top 12 of the UFC middleweight rankings. He has the most to gain. Bo wins, he gains a little, he keeps going up, but he doesn't have the most to gain. I think it's RDR.
I was picking people I actually thought were going to win a fight.
I agree with you. I do agree that those guys I think are going to win, but I think if anyone has the most to gain on this card, it's RDR. He becomes, I think, a big star if he wins. Imagine if he knocks out Bo Nickel and talks trash on the mic. Like, we got ourselves a player. But
no, that's a good answer. That's fair.
I'm actually going to disagree with you guys both a little bit. One, I think RDR is put in a really bad situation here because if he does win, I think most people are going to say that Bo Nickel was just overhyped. Okay. I'm going to throw out a name there, and I don't think any of you are going to agree with me, but I think Jillian actually gains so much from a win here. I think the odds are absolutely insane for Marina Rodriguez. I think she's a very good fighter. I am picking Jillian to win. However, minus 360 against Marina Rodriguez, that to me is very, very interesting. If I'm not mistaken, Marina Rodriguez has a win over what's the other jiu-jitsu girl? Mackenzie Dern, which is a lot of people think, Jillian and them fight very similarly. I think she gets a win over Marina. If she looks really good, she could honestly be looking at a number one contender spot or at least fighting for a number one contender spot next. So that's my pick. And I hate it when this happens where a fight's really close and the person that I think is going to win is a super big favorite because I don't think she's going to get as much credit as she deserves getting this type of win,
That's fair.
Julie Robertson is a heavy betting favorite. She's like at minus 340 now. Crazy.
Yeah, it's been going up.
All right. Last one on the card for Banana Blitz of UFC Des Moines. What fighter has the most to lose?
You go first.
Probably the fighter to have the most to lose. I'd say Corey Sandhagen. A lot of people are high on him, and he's a really big favorite against Figueiredo, who's coming off of a loss. If Figueiredo didn't lose to Petr Yan, I think that he would be a little bit safer. But it just kind of seems like a lose-lose situation for Corey Sandhagen to me, because if he wins, well, you beat a guy that Petr Yan just beat up. And if he loses, it's like, well, you just lost to a guy Petr Yan just beat up, So at that top level, another one, and I'm only going to say this because I don't think you're going to say it. Another one is Mason Jones. I feel like he's got a lot to lose in this fight where he's a heavy favorite. He should be beating this guy that's older than time itself. And if he does end up getting clipped and knocked out, I think it's going to be bad for him.
Yeah. Mason Jones would probably be in the PFL in no time. I hear what you're saying.
Mason Jones.
Okay.
I think that's the only answer besides Corey Sandhagen. I think everybody else has something.
How about Bo Nickel? Like, if he loses this fight and just say looks bad, he has a lot to lose because he has maybe the most hype on him.
He would have to lose really, really badly, I think, to lose too much, because a lot of people, they're wrong, but I do think a lot of people already think he is overhyped. And if you look at the odds, that tells that story. So a lot of people are expecting this fight to be close. So if he has a close fight with De Ridder and loses like a split decision or gets caught somewhere, like, I don't think he loses too much ground, because then people remember that he's only had 8 MMA fights ever. No amateur, like one amateur fight or something?
I think 2.
Maybe 2. He has very little experience in the cage, and he's fighting a guy with 21, 22 fights. Pro fights, not including an amateur career. So I feel like people will kind of give him some grace and be like, he's still developing as a fighter, because that's true. He is, and he's still improving. So I think it really is. I do not expect Mason Jones to do anything except destroy Jeremy Stephens. And I think if he doesn't, I think the UFC expects that to happen, and I think they do not plan to give Jeremy Stephens another fight. And if Mason Jones manages to fumble here, the UFC will not give him another fight either.
Right. If you guys YouTube Bo Nichols amateur fights, the commentary was outstanding that night. Just throwing that out there. Just check it out. All right. There we go. Banana Blitz.
Oh, I was like, what?
Grant was confused.
I was so confused.
Yeah. I had my line when he knocked out the guy who walked to the venue that night, literally tomato can. I think it was welcome to the Bo show. Just right off the top of the head. All right, it's done, dude. What a great show. Evan Elder, dude, he was great. That picture, if you could send that to me, I don't know. I'll ask him. Maybe we can post it later. I never knew that about him. That was crazy.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind, but he literally texted me and was like, "Oh, so great! Like, thank you guys." So I was like, I'd love to have him back on and let him talk some more.
Yeah, Evan.